When I was 15 years old, my entire world was breaking apart right in front of me. My mom was dying of brain cancer. 9 months in hospice. 9 months of watching the strongest person I knew fade away piece by piece. Doctors said she lived longer than expected, but it didn't feel like a blessing. It felt like watching someone drown in slow motion, and you can't pull them out. A month before she died, I found out my dad was having an affair. Not just with some random woman. No, he was sleeping with her best friend. The woman who used to sit in our kitchen gossiping with my mom. The woman who held my hand when mom went into the hospital for the first time. The same woman who cooked us dinner and said it was because she wanted to help. My mom was too far gone to be told. She lost a lot of her bodily functions, and her hearing and vision were poor, too. And the two of them had the nerve, the absolute audacity, to claim that they were just emotionally supporting and leaning on each other, and it wasn't supposed to hurt anyone. As if that made any difference. As if they weren't betraying a dying woman who couldn't even speak up to defend herself. I became physically sick, anxiety, stress, rage, grief, it all blended together until I couldn't even stand being in the same house as my father. I told my dad I was never coming back home and I would be moving in with my maternal grandparents. He tried to stop me, acted like I was overreacting, but I didn't listen. When mom died I was with her and I went home to my grandparents afterward. But the nightmare wasn't over. On the day of the funeral, when I was already numb, broken, exhausted, someone told me the truth my father never wanted me to know. I learned my dad and mom's best friend had an affair for years before mom got sick, and it wasn't a we leaned on each other through grief thing as they claimed. My dad even got her pregnant when I was 7. She terminated the pregnancy so mom would never find out. I didn't want to believe it at first. But my dad confirmed it. He looked me in the eye and admitted it. That was the moment something inside me shut off. I cut him out of my life completely. Same with the affair partner. I warned my paternal grandparents, too. I told them clearly, I want nothing to do with my dad or his affair partner. Don't invite me anywhere if they'll be there. Don't try to fix anything. There is no relationship. They told me they respected that. And for a while, they actually did. Years passed. I healed, slowly. I built a life where my father and the woman who betrayed my mother didn't exist. Then, a few weeks ago, everything resurfaced like a ghost I didn't summon. My paternal grandparents called. My dad had died, so had the affair partner. That's when they let me know something I wasn't prepared for. My dad and that woman had a 2-year-old daughter. And no one had made arrangements for her. They wanted me to step in. To contact the social worker. To say I wanted to take custody of this child. A child born from the same betrayal that destroyed my family. They asked me to consider contacting the social worker overseeing her care and say I wanted to take care of her. They said that would help me out financially with that. But that she needed a home and I was her sister. And I said no. Immediately. Firmly. I told them I wasn't contacting anybody and I was not taking in some random child. They told me she wasn't some random child, she is your sister. They told me to forget the affair, who her parents are, and just think that she is my flesh and blood sibling and the only people willing to take her is us. I told them that was not true and I was not willing to take her. I don't see her as my sister. I see her as a child, an innocent child, but one who has no connection to me beyond biology I never asked for. I told them, if you're so concerned, you take her in. I'm not doing it. They claimed the affair partner's family had already been contacted and refused to take her. So now she was living with a temporary foster family. And suddenly, in their eyes, this became my responsibility. My paternal grandparents tried to change my mind, but I stood firm. They pressured me. They guilt-tripped me. They tried to manipulate me by saying I was her only hope. I stood firm. I said no. Then they switched tactics. If we take her in, they said, will you at least help? Will you have a relationship with her? Again, I said no. Over and over, I told them. You are free to do whatever you want, but I will not be involved. At all. They asked me to meet her. Just once. To see how I feel. I refused. That's when things got ugly. My paternal grandparents contacted my maternal grandparents. They tried to drag them into it. Tried to get them to pressure me. They said it was cold-hearted for me to reject an innocent child who was family, whether I like it or not. My maternal grandparents shut them down immediately. They supported me fully, but they also warned me what was happening. So, I confronted my paternal grandparents and told them plainly, if you don't stop harassing me about this, I will cut off contact with you as well. They panicked, begged me not to cut them out, promised they'd stop. That promise lasted 5 days. Then they started again, so I blocked them. But they still didn't stop. They started harassing my maternal grandparents again, saying awful things about me. Calling me selfish, saying I was letting a child rot in the system. All because I refused to clean up a mess caused by two adults who had already destroyed my life once. The truth is, I'm not stopping them from rescuing her, as they put it. They can take her in if they want. They can raise her, love her, give her a home. But I will not be involved. Not financially, not emotionally, not in any way. Yes, she's innocent, but so are millions of other children. And I owe her nothing. I refuse to let the consequences of my father's betrayal become my burden to carry. So I ask, am I the a-hole?